that want to speak out against the sexual indoctrination of children. So all you have to do is...
Last card, Alex Stein.
He passed him something, dude ain't even look at it. Now he's looking at it.
Okay,
You can give your name and address. Sure,
Alex Stein, 7509 Inwood Road. And normally, I come up here and I make, a funny statement, but what's happening in Denton is actually really serious. And that was just Proposition B. And they call me Delta 9 One-Way Stein. That's kind of a nickname because it is hard to tell the difference between hemp, which doesn't have the psychoactive effects, than THC marijuana. But my point is, this weekend, there was an event right here about a mile down the road at Patchouli Joe's bookstore where there was literally, and I just gave you the handout, armed Antifa. They were out.
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
And they were guarding.
Give me just one.
Just 1 minute.
No. You'll continue. Let me clear this up. Jesse, if you can pause the time. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe it's our policy that speaking before special call meetings and at work sessions, you have to be speaking about an item on the agenda. Is that not the case?
That is, and that's been violated twice or three times today already. So I'm going to allow this speaker to do it because everyone else spoke on both A and B. I have not called B, item B, and people spoke on it. You did not raise that issue then. I understand the content now is why you're raising the issue, but I did not interrupt them. I'm not going to interrupt him. So if we can put I think we're at 340, 320.
Shout out to that man. Who is that guy? See, that's what you get for trying to be a damn snitch. That's what you get for being a damn snitch. He's not supposed to. Shout out to Chili Choker Pepper Belly for using up 25 bits. He's not supposed to be talking about this because we didn't say he's supposed to talk about it. He's supposed to do this and do that before he can say something. That's what you get, punk. He cleared them up real quick. Okay, so since you didn't stop anybody else from doing those talks, I'm not about to stop him. All right? Thank you for telling me that. Now I can keep it going the way I meant it to go.
Okay. Give me just 1 minute. Ready? Okay.
And this is why this issue is so serious right in our backyard. Now listen, I am pro-trans, I am pro-gay, I want to support the LGBT community 100%, and that is how I feel. But when you look at the advertising rules that we have for young children, there are certain rules that we cannot even advertise to young children because they are so impressionable. The only difference between a gay person and a straight person is their sexual preference. Yet we have children that are not even high school age, where you could at least maybe justify teaching them about sexual orientation, but instead, right here, less than a mile away at Patchouli Joe's, Brian, you're having transgender story time. Where you're
What the hell is transgender story time? What? It's going to be fabulous. We're going to read nothing but transgender books to the children so that they can know that the world is changing and it's getting better. Because you can be more than what you were born. All you got to do is identify as it. Listen, I didn't mean to offend anyone when I was saying that. That was just me being ridiculous, going off the top of the head. Sometimes when I go off the top of the head and I'm not really taking into account that some things I might be saying might be just a pinch, teaspoon, disrespectful. It already comes out. Next thing you know, I didn't mean to say that. Too late. People didn't heard it.
You're reading sexual nature issues to children that aren't even allowed to have sex. These are children that cannot consent to it. And on top of that, you have armed people with AR-15s out here protecting this, happening in your own city. This is disgusting. This is indoctrination of children. You know that, and I know that. If you look at the amount of trans people in 1980 to 2022, it is up 10,000%. Why is that? Because there is an indoctrination of young kids that are impressionable, because even people at Boston's Children's Hospital, they said once a child identifies as trans, they are a lifelong patient. There is a medical incentive for medical practitioners to...
Is that true? Wow. Once a child identifies as trans, they are a lifelong patient. Also, as you can clearly see, Antifa are using their Second Amendment rights. Now, what they're standing up for might be some poppycock, but listen, they constitutionalizing it. They out there with their guns. Look, peaceful protest. We have a right to be armed. That's what they doing. Might not be for something that you like, but hey.
Diagnose children with gender dysphoria, causing them to be transgender. And oftentimes people say that these treatments are reversible. They are not. No, they are not reversible. Gender ideology, and let me tell you something, gender hormone therapy is not reversible. So letting children that can't decide even to vote, that can't drive a car, you're going to let them choose their sex. That is evil. That is child abuse. And that is what's happening right down the street, right here in Denton, Texas. And it's disgusting. And we should stand up for it, and more people should stand up for it, because I'm not going to sit here and just let kids get sexualized. That is actual child sexual abuse. And listen, I tell you this all day long. I love to joke. I love to clown around, but this is not funny. When you have people with actual guns that want to intimidate people in your own city, this is happening right down the street. These aren't fake guns. They're not holding these because this is just a little fun event. They're doing this to intimidate people that want to speak out against the sexual indoctrination of children.
Listen, they don't want you to run up to them and knock their books out of their hands when they're talking about what they're talking about in their books. I live next city over from Boston. What he says is true. They will give young ladies hypersterectomies. Oh, that's a huge word right there. Well, you know, and that's unfortunate. It's highly unfortunate what they're doing to these children. Hopefully, you guys will make enough noise for this to be fixed. But listen, adults are gung-ho about it, and they got a little bit of power behind them, and they got a little bit of money behind them, and they're moving forward. Whether you like it or not, they're moving forward.
So all you have to do is look at the stats, the amount of kids that even identify as gender fluid or trans in 2022 compared to decades in the past. It's gone up an absolute alarming rate. So let me just say this. These medical procedures at these hospitals were created because a very small amount of people are born intersex or have some sort of gender mutilation.
Hold on. So they're giving, so what he's talking about, this event that they gave, the transgender storybook time, they had the windows covered up with rainbow flags at the time. And people who wanted to come out there to make sure that children were being treated okay inside of that building, they could not, because they were being threatened with their lives. I mean, oh, okay. All right. I'm catching on now.
And so oftentimes they have to apply these techniques like gender hormone therapy or gender reassignment surgery to young children so they fit in. But that is because of a birth defect. Now they are using this to literally cut off children's genitals with the double mastectomy and the gender reassignment surgery. And right here in Denton, Texas, less than a mile away from where I stand today, transgender story time is happening on children that can't even consent to sex. And like I said earlier, the only difference between a gay person and a straight person is their sexual preference. Why are we teaching kids about their sexual preference before they can legally consent to sex?
Now that's a great point. That is a phenomenal point. I've been wondering about that for a long time, but it's like we can care less now. It's not about sexual preference anymore. It's about your actual being and being a part of whatever agenda is being pushed. And it's unfortunate.
It's just common sense stuff.
And that's your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have one speaker that I missed, Javier.
Dude, I'm walking down the street.
I'm standing here. I'm allowed.
Let him go sideways. Get out of my...
Why are you trying to fall down like that? Like, oh, he assaulted me. He assaulted me.
Alex, you need to leave.
Alex Stein, I've never seen Alex Stein that serious in any of his videos, but that one right there, he was actually serious and he got the point across clearly. Hopefully you picked up something that he was putting down. That was dope. I enjoyed it, and it's unfortunate what they're doing to these children, man. It's highly unfortunate, for real. I don't even know what the dad gonna say.